A man. I just played the hand song with the hand speed of being single for 30 years. Unexpectedly succeeded in turning Zhao Yuqi, who was the school flower. Gave a counterattack, looking at the reward of up to 7 million in front of him. Chen Yuan immediately became excited. After all, it's all your own money. Not only did the piano mastery rise to level 60, even the enhancement has increased by 26 points. And yet at this moment, there was a sudden exclamation at the door. The woman who looks so good and has a fairy spirit. Is it Qin Bingxue? Suddenly, everyone in the audience will be stared. Cast on that figure. Just because. Qin Bingxue is the first person in the state of school flowers. Qin Bingxue is the same as Zhao Yuqi. Are all suffocating girls who are so beautiful. But she didn't smile. Although she is breathtakingly beautiful. But what made her so famous? But it is a hostile attitude towards men. As a result, many boys don't even dare to approach her. Even speculated behind her that she was a girl. If Zhao Yuqi is compared to a hibiscus out of the water, then Qin Bing Snow is a peerless and proud Tianshan snow lotus. Even many people think that they are a pair of friends. However, according to insiders, the reason why Qin Bingxue became like this, there's a reason for that. He was kidnapped by robbers as a child, but the police arrived in time to rescue him. Although he did not suffer any harm, but it left a shadow in my heart. From now on, the attitude towards men has become very disgusting. I saw Qin Bingxue wearing a long black skirt fluttering like a fairy. His facial features are naturally beautiful, bright and moving, but the appearance is very cold. Will make people create a sense of being outside of humility. That's when it happened. Zhao Yuqi suddenly grabbed Chen Yuan's arm. Asked Chen Yuan, "What do you think of me and senior sister Qin? Who looks better?" Chen Yuan Wenyan immediately approached Zhao Yuqi. Then pinch his chin gently. Gently, do you still need to ask? In my mind, no one can compare to you. You are my genius. Looked at Qin Bingxue's sassy appearance. Chen Yuan was not shocked and secretly complained in his heart. Although the appearance is not inferior to Xiao Ruyu at all, but it also looks too cold. It's better not to provoke him. And yet at this moment, Zhao Yuqi suddenly beckoned to Qin Bingxue. Sister Qin Shui, you're finally here. People have been waiting for you for a long time. Qin Bingxue only nodded when she heard this. The apologetic sentence just got stuck in traffic on the road. It's late, and Zhao Yuqi seems to be used to this. He still said with enthusiasm on his face that it was okay. This is Chen Yuan. Introduced to you. Chen Yuan hurriedly stiffened his head. It was not easy to squeeze out a long-known sentence. Hello, senior sister Qin. And Qin Bingxue still looked cold. He looked at Chen Yuan's anxious eyes slightly, then asked, "You are the jade. Is that Chen Yuan who often chatters? That piano piece was from you." Before Chen Yuan could speak, Qin Bingxue continued to speak to Chen Yuan. I've heard you've been in the limelight lately, and inside and in school. Many girls have ambiguous relationships. He had no regard for the distant feelings. Plain words. Bluntly pointed out the essence of his flower, being put in front of you by others. There is no need to complain at all. Chun Yin immediately exploded the pot, and Zhao Yuqi saw that this was not good. Hurriedly stopped him. At the same time, it is said that the love festival is just a knife mouth. Don't take it personally. And yet at this moment, the system suddenly remembered to prompt the dog-licking action to start. Nim, Kin Bingsu. The girl currently has a -80 opinion of the host. Bind the dog-licking relationship. Contemporary women have a favorability of more than 95 points towards their hosts. The counterattack was successful. Changing identities will turn the other party into a host-licking dog. Bonus skill, fighting mastery. Counterattack completion reward 10% consumption, licking dog gold reward. Reinforcement points, 35 points. It can enhance the host's physical attributes. Shin Tattoo can't wait to give the system life to death. I actually want to let myself lick one. The first meeting already. A woman with 80 opinion points. He couldn't help but wonder if the system was malfunctioning. It's all tied to yourself. Some people who don't want to lick. Not even a contact person. It has been bound successfully. Starting with a difficulty of -80 opinion. Chen Yuan couldn't help but feel a little difficult. But after he calmed down, couldn't help but glance at Qin Bingxue. Then he muttered in his heart, "The woman is tall and thin." He turned out to be proficient in martial arts. The reason why the system binds me, it's definitely just because the system is. I'm a serious person. There can be absolutely no strange ideas. It's coming, it's coming. The senior sister who ranked first in the school flower finally appeared. Can be such a cold and glamorous senior sister. But it's that kind of relationship with the vice president. In the face of such a woman, Chen Yuan just wanted to stay away from him. But just met. Qin Bingxue said that he was a scumbag with flowers and sticky grass. What made Chen Yuan desperate the most was the system actually bound Qin Bingxue. The opening game is directly -80 favorability. Longing for Qin Bingshue's beautiful figure, Chen Yuan couldn't help but wonder if the system was a little. The next birthday party. It's going well. All of a sudden, the time came to night. In full view, Chen Yuan personally launched a 5-layer cake. Immediately, everyone began to sing the birthday song together. And Zhao Yuqi, after lighting the candle, he closed his eyes and began to make a wish. Then Chen Yuan held Zhao Yuqi's little hand, cut off the big cake together. After dividing the cake, Zhao Yuqi personally distributed eggs to everyone in the venue. But Qin Bingxue suddenly interrupted Yuqi. "Come over here. I have something to say to you." Zhao Yuqi was not stunned when she heard this. Then he looked at Qin Bingxue with some confusion. Mother-in-law Zhao Yuqi still followed Qin Bingxue. Came to the balcony of the villa. After moving away from the crowd, Qin Bingxue immediately suggested to Yuqi with a cold expression, "I have a heartfelt suggestion. That is, I hope you don't have to be with that dust anymore. Walk so close. I think it's better to stay away from you." Zhao Yuqi couldn't help but hear this. Then he hurriedly asked why. Qin Bingxue immediately frowned slightly. "Explain, do you still need me to say?" "Old. Yen is a scumbag who likes to get flowers and sticky grass everywhere. Even if he has talent, can't hide his scumbag nature. I don't want you to get hurt before Zhao Yuqi can speak." Qin Bingxue suddenly took a sip of the red wine in his hand. Then he spoke. "And I'm the president of the student council. I'm going to retire soon. I hope that the next person to succeed me will be you." As soon as this remark came out, Zhao Yuqi suddenly became a little fierce. He couldn't help but be secretly shocked in his heart. "Do you want me to be the chairman?" He was so shocked, just because when I was in school, the two of them often disagreed. Moreover, nor was the relationship between the two sides that good. Come to think of it, Zhao Yuqi couldn't help frowning slightly. The secret enemy stepped up, and when things went wrong, there must be demons. Sister Qin Shui actually supported me as the chairman. Suddenly, a bold guess arose in Zhao Yuqi's heart. It's just as rumored to be. Is Qin Bingxue actually a girl? And she also took a fancy to me. Immediately, Zhao Yuqi's face changed abruptly. Then he went crazy and went to what Sister Qin Shui said. "Actually, I know all about it. But Sister Shui, you may still have some misunderstanding about Chen Yuan. He's not the kind of person you think he is." Qin Bingxue immediately took a step, walked toward Zhao Yuqi. Seeing that Zhao Yuqi did not listen to persuasion, Qin Bingxue immediately showed a serious expression. "Tell you no. There is no need to explain anything. Love is often a mystery for the onlookers. Anyway, you're good for yourself. Don't bring feelings into your work." As soon as I heard this, Zhao Yuqi suddenly looked shy, and he couldn't reach the enemy. It doesn't matter if Chen Yuan really likes me. I can't be the president of the student council. I want to spend more time with him. Qin Bingxue heard this, immediately showed a look of hating iron but not steel. Yelled, "How can you be so confused? to make such a sacrifice for the sake of a man. Immediately, the system sounded twice in a row. Qin Bingshue's opinion is reduced by 5. Moment. Qin Bingshue's favorability towards Chen Yuan fell to 90 points, and Chen Yuan, who was hiding in the dark and eating cake silently. The mentality exploded in an instant. I almost choked on the cake. Looking out at the balcony, the two of them who made a little unpleasant. Chen Yuan couldn't help but secretly roar in his heart. I just sat next to me and ate melons. Is there something wrong with it? This will also reduce the opinion plummeting. 10 o'clock and this birthday party. It lasts until 9 p.m. Everyone also began to leave one after another. And Chen Yuan, and as a matter of course, follow those who are leaving at the same time, ready to walk together. But Zhao Yuqi suddenly stopped him. Chen Yuan. The tattoo couldn't help but feel a little surprised to stop. And Zhao Yuqi said a little shyly, I have something to say to him. It turns out that the schoolgirl and the senior sister are really that kind of relationship. The senior sister plans to hand over the position of president to the school flower. But the school flower said that she would resign from the position of vice president, just to be able to accompany Chen Yuan more. Qin Bingshue immediately showed a look of hating iron but not steel. In his opinion, Chen Yuan is an out-and-out scumbag. It's at the birthday party. After the meeting, Zhao Yuqi actually asked Chen Yuan to stay and not leave. Then Zhao Yuqi said a little shyly, in order to thank Chen Daxiao for his kindness to me, I'll take you to the movies tomorrow. And Chen Yuan agreed to come down. He walked straight out of the door. Then he muttered secretly, after I successfully counterattacked. The more you look at it now, the more people like it. Thinking of when Zhao Yuqi left herself. Chen Yuan even thought that Zhao Yuqi was at one point. It was to keep him for the night. However, just as Chen Yuan was thinking nonsense, suddenly there was a terrible cry. Saw. Tang Xiuwen squatted in front of the Ferrari 488 with a frustrated face, constantly wailing, what is the use of having money? What's the use of being handsome? I've been practicing piano for so many years. It's also a waste of time. Chen Yuan Wenxing, who thought he had hit a ghost. I couldn't help muttering secretly. Tang Xiuwen is a literary director. What is the trouble? What is he doing there? Then Chen Yuan came to Tang Xiuwen, greeted Tang Xiuwen with enthusiasm on his face, looked at Chen Yuan standing on his car. Tang Xiuwen's face immediately changed. Shouted Chen Yuan, how are you here? And Chen Yuan couldn't help but laugh and said I didn't expect it. Senior Tang, you actually remember my name. Ha! Subsequently, Chen Yuan couldn't help but muttered secretly in his heart. You're not unjust in losing to me. After all, I'm a super hanger with a system. Immediately, he smiled kindly. Comforted Senior Tang. Why do you bother? It's just a loss. And as a rich and handsome Tang Xiuwen tattoo, immediately shouted in annoyance. What do you mean by that expression? Is this sympathetic to me? Still look down on me. You make it clear to me. And Chun Yi jumped off the Ferrari violently. Then he smiled slightly and said with a smile, Senior, you misunderstood. I just have nothing to do. Too sensitive. I didn't mean that. And Don, Xiuwen suddenly showed a look of unwillingness. I gritted my teeth until my skills were not as good as others, and I recognized it. I really can't compare to you when it comes to piano skills. But don't think you're a winner. In this real society, family affairs are all about family affairs. Whether it is birth or wealth and social status. You can't catch up with me anymore. He then pulled out his Ferrari keys. Then press understand what you see. Followed by. He turned his head and smiled at Chen Yuan. Then a sincere invitation to you, since you are not gone. Do you want me to send you back to school? Anyway, it's also a drop way. And Chen Yuan directly pretended not to hear it. Then walked to your own Ferrari Lafa Hall. Skillfully got into the car. This operation directly suppressed Tang Xiuwen. Even the car keys were blown up by him. Tang Xiuwen, who was full of confidence a second ago. Suddenly, it was like a deflated balloon, Lying on the ground, he got up and lay down. Has the world changed? We're a bargain. Drive tens of millions of Ferrari Lafa. Don't let us live like the rich second generation. And at this time, Chen Yuan muttered secretly as he drove. What movie should I watch with Zhao Yuqi tomorrow? Wolf Warrior 6 seems to be pretty good. It's better to wear a vest, but a big short sleeve. And yet at this moment, a familiar figure suddenly appeared on the side of the road. The spring saw this. I couldn't help but secretly suppress it. That person is so familiar. It seems to be Sister Qin Shui. What is she doing here alone? Looked at Qin Bingshui, who was trembling on the side of the road. Izumi couldn't help but secretly sympathize. This big autumn, the temperature difference between day and night is huge. She's so cool. It's going to be cold to the point of cold. But when I thought of Qin Bingshui's favorability towards him, Chen Yuan couldn't help but shake his head. But that's okay with me. I'm with him again. If he is not familiar, it is his own business to be coldly killed. Immediately, Chen Yuan slammed the accelerator. Directly, there was nothing to do, and poor Qin Bingshui was about to leave. After all, the opinion is already minus 90 points. It doesn't matter if it goes down a little more. However, just when Chen Yuan looked at the rearview mirror curiously, but suddenly I found an unexpected situation. I saw Qin Bingshui beside him. Suddenly, a few small quacks were around. At first glance, he is a man who is going to trouble him. Drive home in a Ferrari. But not far yet. I met the school flower that ranked first in the school. In this season of great temperature difference between day and night. Qin Bingshui waiting for the car on the side of the road. I was already shivering with cold. However, Chun Yin thought of Qin Bingshui. Opinion of yourself is already as high as minus 90 points. Immediately hit the throttle. Directly choose to ignore him. And yet at this moment, the spring was found through the rearview mirror. Qin Bingshui was surrounded by a group of small quacks. The group of little gagas saw that Qin Bingshui was alone. He kept looking his proud figure up and down, and he kept making jokes. Seeing that Qin Bingshui was silent, Xiao Quack's courage instantly became a little bigger. He directly hugged Qin Bingshui into his arms. Then he laughed insolently. Immediately, Qin Bingshui nodded violently. A big slap in the face. Then he shouted angrily, "Stay away from me. Otherwise, I'll call the newspaper to warn you of the harassment." A group of little quacks heard this. Immediately burst out laughing. He didn't take the threat of Qin Bingshui to heart at all. Immediately after that, Xiao Gaga's face suddenly changed. A look of longing for the true spirit. Sneered, "This chick has a really hot temper. It must be fun. Can be a second." Xiao Gaga's face suddenly changed drastically. A sharp pain suddenly rose from summer to supremacy. Swept. I saw it in the shocked eyes of everyone. Qin Bingshui actually raised his foot suddenly. It's a slap to Xiao Quack's crotch. Just before everyone came back to their senses, Qin Bingshui jerked his foot back. The figure turned quickly. "Pull out your legs and get ready to slip away." A group of little quacks saw this, hurriedly stepped forward and cared about Brother Biao. "You okay? Do you want to go to the hospital?" But Brother Biao didn't respond. It's just a constant cry of pain after a long half ring. "It hurts, wow, wow, wow." Brother Biao immediately shouted angrily, "Dao, what are you still doing here? Didn't you see the woman running? Get him back for labor." Although Qin Bingshui was no longer about to start sprinting, but his outfit was really not conducive to escaping, and the little quacks are just a few breaths, and chased after him. Qin Bingshui couldn't help but turn around and look at it when she heard this. At the same time, I secretly said something bad in my heart. This nasty garbage. If it's one-on-one, I'm no one. If it weren't for the fact that they were outnumbered, with my martial arts, I'm sure I'll be able to put them on my stomach. Qin Bingshui, who was thinking nonsense in the next second, it slammed into Chen Yuan's body. Both of them were stunned, and the dust looked at Qin Bingshui from afar. That embarrassed look. I couldn't help but ask if you were okay. "It's fine." And Qin Bingxue looked at it again, and it was actually the Queen of the Dust. Inadvertently, suddenly, secretly suppressed to the point that it wasn't him. What is he doing here? Just a moment's work. A group of little quacks quickly chased after them, surrounded the two of them. After stopping the two, Brother Biao endured the severe pain. Trembling all over, he pointed at Qin Bingxue. He cursed, "Run! Why don't you run? Your fate today is destined to be miserable." As soon as I heard this, Qin Bingxue immediately understood the meaning of the white little quack. Immediately, he cursed in his heart. It was really shameless. Dirty men. It's all this garbage. Subsequently, Qin Bingxue set his eyes on the dust edge in his heart, secretly complained about it, and so did this dust. Just when I was about to escape, came out and stopped me. Otherwise, I'll get out of here. Men really don't have a good thing. That's when it happened. Chen Yuan suddenly faced. A group of small quacks said coldly, "A few of you. Enough is enough. Now it is a society governed by the rule of law. Don't take your kind of thing and go wild here. See you get out of here in 3 minutes." Brother Biao Wensheng immediately stared at Chen Yuan, sneered, and said with a smile on your small body, "Don't you want to be a hero? I'm going to let you walk around without eating." Soon, the little quacks surrounded Chen Yuan, and the whole process lasted only 2.5 minutes. 8 little quacks. No one can walk a photo in front of Chen Yuan. Chen Yuan, whose face and body have been strengthened. It doesn't take any effort to abuse this weak chicken. Seeing that the people couldn't even get up, Chen Yuan patted the dust on his hands with satisfaction, grinning and saying that it would be nice to listen to me and leave early. You can also take one less beating. After solving the fly that is an eyesore, Chen Yuan turned around at this time, towards Qin Bingxue. He said with concern to Sister Qin Shui, "Didn't scare you." As soon as the words fell, the system suddenly remembered the prompt tone. Qin Bingshue's favorability is reduced by 5. Chen Yuan heard this. Immediately, a mouthful of old blood secretly spurted out in his heart. Subsequently, again, the system prompts that the current opinion is -95. Looking at Qin Bingxue, who was still cold, and with a resentful expression, Chen Yuan couldn't help but explode in his heart. "I saved you. You also give me a discount on my favorability. What the hell are you?" When the man saw the joke and was killed, he decisively stepped forward. Chen Yuan, who was surrounded by clusters, was not panicked. Even uttered wild words to tell them to get out. Little quack, who doesn't listen to persuasion, only lasted 2.5 minutes under Chen Yuan, and they all fell. Then Chen Yuan put on a chic appearance, concern for the Qing army, but a good feeling. System hint for weapon reduction. Immediately let him spit out a mouthful of old blood. Chen Yuan couldn't help but explode in his heart. "I saved you. You also cut my favorability." And Qin Bingxue, and not only did not have the slightest gratitude, even frowned. He looked at Chen Yuan with disgust. Immediately, Chen Yuan secretly roared in his heart, "I would like to advise Courage to come out and help you. If you don't give me a long-term favorability, forget it." He looked at me with such an expression. It even reduced its opinion by 5 points, up to -95 opinion. "I'm no different from poop in your eyes." That's when it happened. Qin Bingxue suddenly looked at lying on the ground, a little quack who can't stand up. He said, "Chen Yuan, do you think you're funny?" Subsequently, Qin Bingxue glanced at Chen Yuan with a full face. "Say what you think. I'm just like those little girls who go out into society. Is it easy to be fooled by your routine?" After speaking, Qin Bingxue pointed at the little quacks. "Start analyzing. I was waiting for a car on the side of the road. It's such a coincidence that I encountered hooligans. And you're still at this time. Such a coincidence came out to save the beauty of the hero." Immediately, Qin Bingxue raised his high heels, slammed on little quack's body, then said coldly, "You're too high on your own IQ. Or am I a fool in your eyes? You can be deceived casually." As soon as the words fell, Qin Bingxue suddenly stretched out her hand. A handful of dusty collars were pulled up. Then Qin Bingxue looked away with anger on his face. Roared, "You know, Jade, it is possible to abandon the position of student council president for your sake. And you, a weak chicken scumbag, only saw me once. Actually came up with such a little trick at every turn. You want to soak me as passion." Ice and Snow pushed Chen Yuan away violently. "Then turn around. I'm disgusted with you, a scumbag with too stinky money. Don't let me see you again. It's disgusting." Chen Yuan listened to Qin Bingshue's words. Immediately froze in place. He was completely shocked and speechless. He couldn't help but sigh. Qin Bingshue's brain hole. It can be said that he is proud of Zhao Yuqi. It's just a sign of some paranoia of persecution. Now I can't wash it by jumping into the Yellow River. Immediately, Chen Yuan hurriedly stayed and slowed down. "I would like to ask the chair to hear me first. I really just happened to be passing by." And Qin Bingxue stopped when she heard the sound. Then he didn't look back and shut up in a cold voice for me. "I don't need to listen to your explanations either. You're doing it yourself. Don't let Marble down for what she has done to you. Don't show up in front of me again. Otherwise, don't blame me for drowning you." After finishing speaking, Qin Bingxue left quickly. Only Chen Yuan was left, and a small quack in one place quietly stay in place. That's when it happened. Brother Biao of the ghost hand suddenly touched a little. Dizzy head. Get ready to get up. And the angry Chen Yuan. When you raise your leg and prepare to leave. Accidentally kicked Brother Biao in the face again. Chen Yuan was still unconscious and scolded as he walked. Being a good person is still scolded. I'm really out of luck. I'll never be idle anymore. Just when Chen Yuan had just walked a few steps, he suddenly began to mutter, "Oh no, I just kicked something. Forget it." Soon Chen Yuan returned to Huda. At this time, the time came to 9 o'clock in the evening. But Chen Yuan's heart couldn't calm down yet. He scolded as he walked, and the more he thought about it, the more angry he became. The woman who would be angry. If you meet him, you must not give him a good face. And yet at this moment, his phone rang suddenly, interrupted his swearing. Immediately, Chen Yuan picked up the mobile phone with some suspicion. He muttered, "This point. Who's calling me?" After seeing that it was Xiao Ruyu's call, Chen Yuan couldn't help but secretly feel a little bit like rain. "Is there anything you can do with me?" And after he answered the phone, Xiao Ruyu, who was already lying on the bed and preparing to rest, suddenly asked Chen Yuan, "Are you free tomorrow?" When Chen Yuan heard that Xiao Ruyu happened to be free tomorrow, when I wanted to ask him out to watch a movie together, Chen Yuan's face instantly pulled his hips. After all, tomorrow, I have promised to watch a movie with Chairman Zhao. This is definitely going to overturn, seeing that Chen Yuan was silent. Xiao Ruyu spoke again. "This is the first time I've asked you out. You can't say no. That's all I have to say." Chen Yuan had no choice but to agree. After hanging up the phone, Chen Yuan secretly rejoiced. No problem on the same day. It's a big deal, it's the second half. Witty as I am, I really work hard. A man who could do a lot of work. I actually have to accompany 2 top beauties to watch it in one day. The movie was made early the next morning. Chen Yuan drove a Ferrari to the gate of Colonel Hu. Chen Yuan couldn't help but give Lu Wenjia a little impatiently. A message was sent. "Come and ask where he is." And Lu Wenjia said that it was almost there. It's just because Lu Wenjia came to him not long ago to cry and complain that there is no lotus seed. I asked the girl to watch a movie and was rejected. Tickets are all bought. You deserve me. Wu thought of this. Izumi couldn't help but feel a little pain in the skull. I thought I would just play 2 movies today. Who knows, it's 3. It's really not as fast as planning is changing. But Chun Rin thought of Lu Wenjia's performance towards him. Not only sighed secretly. Who made Fumiko my brother? He used to help me when I didn't have money to eat. About today's schedule. Chun Yin is planning to watch Lu Wenjia at 14 o'clock. 17 o'clock with Zhao Yuqi to watch. At 20 o'clock in the evening, I went to see it with Xiao Ruoyu. Thinking of today's trip, Chen Yuan couldn't help but sigh silently to be reasonable. That's all there is to it for today's schedule. Turn 3 times a day. That's when it happened. Suddenly, there was a movement next to the car door. Chen Yuan immediately turned his head and said, "Mosquitoes. Why are you here?" When he saw the visitor, he found that it was a woman. Chen Yuan was immediately suppressed to "Who are you? Why did you get in my car?" The beauty heard this. Immediately, he explained apologetically, "I'm sorry. I'm too obsessed with makeup. Got into the wrong car." And Chen Yuan had no intention of letting him stay. Feign immediately, "It's okay. You get out of the car. Pay attention next time." And the beauty saw this. Hurriedly put on a pitiful look. Although he got into the wrong car. "But maybe you've met the right person, brother." After speaking, the beauty immediately complained secretly in her heart. "Trick me into getting off? How can the old lady hook up with you to drive a luxury car? It's so handsome. I can't let it go. Come to think of it." The beauty immediately took out her mobile phone and said "brother" at the same time. "Is the price contact good? I think I'm very close to you." Chen Yuan was playing with his mobile phone. "I'm sorry to mess around while messing around. I don't have a phone." Kuan Yin was not only secretly proud in his heart. It's different from the uncivilized traditional Chinese man of mosquitoes. We Sigma men never fall into a woman's trap. Seeing that Chen Yuan is so difficult, the beauty immediately opened the car door in annoyance. At the same time, he opened his mouth and walked. "Count me out if you're ruthless." And yet at this moment, Lu Wenjie looked at the beautiful woman who was about to get out of the car. Suddenly suppressed to Du Xiaoye. "How are you here?" Chen Yuan and Du Xiaoye heard the sound. Couldn't help but look towards Lu Wenjie at the same time. Then they all showed surprised expressions. And Lu Wenjie looked at Du Xiaoye, who got off the car. Regardless of the face. "Ugly guess. You didn't mean you were going to the hospital to accompany your mother in the afternoon. That's why you can't watch movies with me. How could it be in my friend's car now? Could it be that you too?" Chen Yuan heard this. Immediately, he secretly said in his heart that it was not good. It turned out that it was this woman who rejected Fumiko. He wouldn't be mistaken. Immediately, Chen Yuan got out of the car quickly. Then he hurriedly said, "Wenzi, listen to my explanation. We are strangers who have nothing to do with each other." As soon as I heard Chen Yuan's explanation, Lu Wenjie's face instantly turned ugly. Then set his eyes on Du Xiaoye. Immediately, he angrily pointed at Du Xiaoye and shouted, "Du Xiaoye, you see my friend drives a Ferrari, so I want to hook up with him. But he didn't take a fancy to you, so ask you to get out of the car. The two of you have nothing to do with each other. It's all your dead face pestering my friend." "That's right? Chen Yi listened to Lu Wenjie's analysis. Hurriedly and frantically clicked on the projection. Yes. That's right." Later, Lu Wenjie didn't talk to Du Xiaoye anymore. Instead, he sat straight in the passenger seat of a Ferrari. And Du Xiaoye looked at the Ferrari that was drifting away. Couldn't help but lose his soul and said, "Lu Wenjie, I actually know such a rich friend. Come to think of it." Du Xiaoye couldn't help but complain secretly. He's not a monthly scrap man, driving a Ferrari and preparing to accompany his friends to a movie. But a strange beauty, but suddenly got into his car, and to add his contact information, and the fate of being a Sigma man. But he said that he didn't have a mobile phone, and Du Xiaoye had no choice but to leave boringly. Met Lu Wenjie, who had been pursuing him. Lu Wenjie immediately just see through the trick of Du Xiaoye, a gold worshipper, and angrily rebuked him. Du Xiaoye looked at the back of Ferrari leaving. "I can't help but complain. Isn't Lu Wenjie's monthly living expenses only 800? How can you know this kind of local tyrant?" Soon Chen Yuan. "Right here, Lu Wenjie. I came to one of the famous theaters in the city. Start watching the first movie today. All of a sudden, the movie theater was full. And the movie I watched today, it's his favorite Wolf Warrior 6. Just at the beginning of the movie, Lu Wenjie suddenly cried with a sad face. Chen Yuan asked, "Lianzi, do you think I'm too weak? Why do I keep meeting scumbags?" and you're surrounded by beautiful women. It's all at the goddess level. Why am I so unhappy? And Chen Yuan watched the movie intently. At the same time, I don't know if it's not angry. You'll have to look for the reason in yourself. Men are just as human as women. Why do you have to treat them like ancestors? It's good to treat it with a normal heart just at this moment. The two girls behind Chen Yuan. But suddenly he whispered, "Look at the two men in front of you. Let's watch a movie together. It can't be a pair of companions." But Chen Yuan didn't pay attention to the gossip of others. It was smiling at Lu Wenjie. The more you expose the desires you crave, the easier it is for you to be manipulated. You will always be at a disadvantage. The love scene is like a battlefield. It's not as simple as you might think. Watch and learn. Saw Lu Wenjie looking confused. Chen Yuan suddenly frowned slightly and admonished, "The more you are good to them, then the more you will stand in their minds. It doesn't matter what means you use to pick up girls. It's up to you, whether it is strong and confident enough." After speaking, Chen Yuan suddenly put on the appearance of a master. He smiled proudly. It's stupid men who spend money only for women, and spend the money on the woman, is the real big husband. Lu Wenjie, after listening to Chen Yuan's education, I can't help but feel that the whole person suddenly brightened. It seems that I have realized something. It's hard to say that. It seems that this is really the case. Immediately, Lu Wenjie grabbed Chen Yuan's hand excitedly. "Can't wait. It's not right to the master. You are my clothes. After I heard what you said, I felt like I had an epiphany. Teach me quickly. How can you become as strong as you are?" Seeing this, Chen Yuan's face suddenly darkened. Persuaded again and again in public. "Calm me down. Everyone else is watching." After speaking, Chen Yuan suddenly, pretending to be deep, and began to educate him again. "Actually, I don't have much to teach you about mosquitoes. I'm just a little more handsome than you in terms of looks. The economic strength is only a little bit stronger than you. Get to know more girlfriends than you. It's also quite normal. In fact, this kind of life is really tiring. Every day you have to try your best to deal with a different woman. But it's hard for ordinary men to understand my pain." And Lu Wenjie saw that Chen Yuan was so anti-Ursi. Suddenly, with an angry face, he said that enough atoms were enough. "You can shut up. I'm afraid I'm going to stab you on the spot." Soon the movie came to an end, and Lu Wenjie, after enlightenment, I also thanked him with a relaxed face. "Thank you, Adam, today. I feel much more comfortable talking to you for a while. I've been bothering you lately. I will definitely repay you when I have the opportunity in the future." But Chen Yuan suddenly grabbed his hand. "And don't wait for the opportunity to get excited. Now you can repay me. You'll call me in about 2 hours. That would have helped me a lot." Lu Wenjie couldn't help but ask with a confused face, "Is it as simple as that? I can call you right now. Why wait 2 hours?" A scene where the two shake hands again fell into the eyes of the two girls. Immediately, he said loudly and unscrupulously, "I'm right. They're a couple." And Chen Yuan was misunderstood. Hurriedly let go and didn't explain. Just turn around and leave in style. At the same time, I secretly fell in my heart. Why didn't you call me? How do I find an excuse to leave halfway? Let's go on to the next date. The screen turns. Chen Yuan said goodbye to Lu Wenjie. I drove to the Emperor's Cinema. Chen Yuan, who was almost late, looked at Zhao Yuqi, who was already waiting at the door. I couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Luckily, I wasn't late. Arrive on time. At this time, Zhao Yuqi looked at her watch. I couldn't help but feel a little anxious. Why hasn't Chen Yuan arrived yet? The movies are almost starting. Something should not happen. That's when it happened. The voice of a strange man greeting him suddenly. It sounded from behind Zhao Yuqi. I saw a handsome guy of 1.8 meters. Accosted Zhao Yuqi and said to the beauty, "Hello, my name is Wu Dum. I see you on your own. I've been standing here for a long time. Can you add a contact information to get acquainted?" And Zhao Yuqi didn't even think about it. "I'm sorry to refuse. I made an appointment. It's not convenient to add friends with you. And little Gaga, on the other hand, was a little disappointed and embarrassed. I'm sorry to bother you, but it's just a matter of adding a contact information. I won't bother you with a date. If you think I'm nasty, it's okay to delete it at any time. Please just add me one. And yet at this moment, Chen Yuan suddenly appeared behind Xiao Gaga, patted him on the shoulder, and interrupted it. Brother, you have to make a face. The beauties of the people have rejected you. What's the point of having a dead skin on your face? Immediately Chen Yuan. He showed a confident look at Xiao Gaga. Take a good look at it. Learn to show you how to really pick up a conversation. As soon as the words fell, Chen Yuan didn't say a word, directly gave Zhao Yuqi a wall knock. Followed by, Chen Yuan put on a handsome pose. The expression of the young lady. You look so beautiful. Let's find a place with fewer people. Is it okay to have a good in-depth exchange? See you at Little Quack. His face turned black suddenly. Complained frantically in his heart. Give me back to teaching at this level. It's a hooligan. How could it be useful? What could surprise Xiao Quack is? Zhao Yuqi actually nodded happily. And the hard way with a smile on his face is good. As soon as this remark came out, look nearby. The lively crowd was stunned to the point of stupefaction. They couldn't have imagined it. It's okay to talk like this. And the other party is still a super beauty. A man becomes a master of time management. I had to watch 3 movies in one day. After watching the first scene with Lu Wenjie, he let Lu Wenjie stay for 2.5 hours. Then give yourself a call. Then he hurriedly went to Zhao Yuqi to watch the second game. But he saw that there was a little quack. I was asking for Zhao Yuqi's contact information. Immediately, he came to Zhao Yuqi, directly gave him a big wall knock. And Zhao Yuqi not only did not resist this, he even showed a very fond expression. Watched the lively little quacks on the sidelines. Was immediately stunned by this scene. Soon the two entered the cinema. In the blink of an eye, it was evening time. At this time, the movie is still playing Wolf Warrior 6. It is being staged. A soldier kicks a missile. But Zhao Yuqi's mind doesn't seem to be on the movie. He looked at the dust and was not surprised. Some frowned slightly, seeing that Chen Yuan didn't even look up to watch the movie. Just play with your phone. Zhao Yuqi suddenly had some doubts about Chen Yuan. What happened to you? Didn't you pick this movie? Don't you like to watch? Why do you keep playing with your phone? When Chen Yuan heard this, he immediately became clever. Then he hurriedly explained that he was sorry. It's just that there have been some trivial things in the family lately. I've been patronizing these trivia lately, so the mood is a little annoying. Zhao Yuqi listened to Chen Yuan's explanation. After that, he suddenly felt silently distressed. He also has to find a way to inherit the 50 billion inheritance, and also to take care of so many businesses for the family. It's going to be tiring, and it's going to be stressful. And I'm carefree, but he wants to be at this age. Bear what he shouldn't bear. One thought, a scene that Chen Yuan played for himself at his birthday party. Zhao Yuqi couldn't help but sigh secretly in his heart. The bad guys will only see Chen Yuan's extraordinary memories, but he will never know that he has cultivated these memories. How much heartache and sweat has been paid. The more Zhao Yuqi thought about it, the more fascinated he became. He suddenly thought back to Chen Yuan, the picture of the hammer in the crayfish shop. When I think of me, Zhao Yuqi couldn't help but sigh secretly in his heart. Not only the piano is superb, even the personal qualities and outstretched hands are far beyond ordinary people. This is bound to be from small to large. The result of hard work out. He received an aristocratic elite education since he was a child. But he never said that he was bitter and tired. It's just that I've been carrying it silently. Own destiny and responsibility. The more Zhao Yuqi thought about it at this time, the more he blamed himself. He wept without secret. He has worked so hard in the dust. There is simply not enough time. But for my own selfish desires. It took up so much of his precious time. Let him come and watch a movie with me. I'm such a bad woman. When I think of me, Zhao Yuqi suddenly stretched out her hand. One pressed on Chen Yuan's finger. This is a sudden operation. Immediately, Chen Yuan felt a little depressed. He couldn't help but turn his head and look at Zhao Yuqi suspiciously. But at this time, Zhao Yuqi's face was already full of tears. A pitiful look just looked at Chen Yuan, and Chen Yuan was immediately stunned when he saw this. He couldn't help but feel a little speechless in his heart. Chairman Zhao, what's going on? It's an action movie. It's not a romance movie. He's crying with a hammer. Soon the movie came to an end. After leaving the cinema, Zhao Yuqi was very considerate and concerned about Chen Yuan Lai. Are you hungry? Why don't we find a place to eat? Chen Yuan couldn't help but stop when he heard this. He couldn't help but secretly wonder in his heart that it was not good to eat. If you eat, it's over. That's when it happened. His phone rang suddenly. Immediately, Chen Yuan remembered not long after the things he explained to Lu Wenjia before. Chen Yuan picked up his phone. I couldn't help but feel secretly proud in my heart. Or brothers can be trusted. So you'll call me on time in 2.5 hours. It's raining just in time. Then Chen Yuan directly connected the phone. Then asked Dao Wenjia directly. Find me something. The next moment, Chen Yuan's face suddenly changed. Yang pretended to say something to the other end of the phone. So serious. I'll be there right there when I'm there. And Lu Wenjia on the other end of the phone. Wen Yin was immediately confused. But he didn't have time to ask. Chen Yuan hung up the phone directly. Meanwhile, Chen Yuan put on a very sorry posture. Zinzin said sorry. Chairman Zhao won't have time to eat with you for dinner. A friend just called and said something was wrong. I'm going to have to help him deal with it. And Zhao Yuqi was not angry. It's very understandable. You can go for it. It's okay. I'll just go back myself. Looking at the back of the dust and the fire leaving in a hurry, Zhao Yuqi couldn't help but sigh secretly in his heart. Chen Yuan is really a man with affection and righteousness. A friend is so attentive to a phone call, still in such a hurry to help. And Chen Yuan got out smoothly, hurriedly returned to the Ferrari, secretly rejoiced. I'm a witty little guy. Then it's the last one of the day. I have to go find Xiao Ruoyu. The man accompanies the goddess to watch a movie. But I've been playing with my phone. Chen Yuan, who was broken, hurriedly said. Recently things in the family too. Much more. Immediately, Zhao Yuqi began to make up for it on his own. Thought of Chen Yuan for inheritance. 50 billion efforts. Zhao Yuqi. Immediately I felt like a selfish woman. It actually took up his precious time. And after the end of the movie, his cell phone rang as promised. Immediately, he said that he had something urgent to deal with. Need to go first? Then he quickly returned to Ferrari. I'm going to watch a movie with Xiao Ruoyu. Soon, Chen Yuan followed the position sent by Xiao Ruoyu. I came downstairs in an upscale community. Chen Yuan, after parking the car, immediately took out his mobile phone to send a message to Xiao Ruoyu. And Xiao Ruoyu, after receiving Chen Yuan's information, immediately said that he would go downstairs immediately. I've watched 2 Wolf Warrior 6 battles. I couldn't help but feel a pain in my brain. In my heart, the secret enemy will not fall down this day. It's finally time for the last one. Next time, you can't do this kind of time management operation again. It's so tiring. Just when the edge of the dust is distracted, a crisp girl suddenly remembered on the side. You're here. I'm sorry. Kept you waiting so long. I saw Xiao Ruoyu in casual clothes. It looks youthful, a little less mature and charming, but it's a little more pure and lovely. Even the calmness that is used to seeing big scenes couldn't help but be beaten wildly by Xiao Ruoyu's heart. It's just because today's Xiao Ruoyu is so beautiful. I saw Xiao Ruoyu dressed in a ladylike style before, and this time it's just simple casual clothes. But it's still stunningly beautiful. Chen Yuan looked at Xiao Ruoyu. I can't help but sigh secretly in my heart. Xiao classmate. This beauty that can handle all styles. It's really the best among women. And Xiao Ruoyu saw Chen Yuan staring at him firmly. I couldn't help but blush and interrupted. Let's go. And Chen Yuan's thoughts were immediately interrupted when he heard the sound. Then keep nodding your head to indicate that you're going now. Looked at Xiao Ryu, who was next to him. Chen Yuan couldn't help but secretly look forward to it in his heart. If the date goes well today, maybe you can be with Xiao. Went a little deeper. Soon, the two went to a nearby movie theater. And this time Chen Yuan was not playing with his mobile phone. Instead, he watched it with Xiao Ryu. And after watching the movie, the two of them came to a food stall, started to show off the supper. Happy times go by quickly. All of a sudden, it was midnight. And after the end of the date, Chen Yuan drove a Ferrari General. Xiao Ryu was sent back to the gate of the community. After getting off the bus, Xiao Ryu suddenly turned around. He smiled at Chen Yuan and thanked Chen Yuan. You're playing with me so late tonight. You should go back and rest early. I'm having a great day today. Thank you. However, just as Xiao Ryu was about to enter the community, Chen Yuan suddenly said, Ryu, wait a minute. Followed by. Chen Yuan scratched his face with embarrassment. Then he asked, my mouth is a little dry. Can I go to your house and have a glass of water? As soon as I heard this, Xiao Ryu immediately began to think about it. He didn't expect Chen Yuan to make such a request. Immediately, he was a little shy and froze in place. And Xiao Ryu was a moment after Shen still brought Chen Yuan back to his rental house. And Chen Yuan after drinking water. But he went into the bathroom and began to shower. And Xiao Ryu listened to the sound of rushing water. I couldn't help but secretly go crazy in my heart. What happened to me today? I actually took Chen Yuan home. Xiao Ryu was already in turmoil at this time. Chen Yuan, this guy obviously said that he would drink a glass of water and leave. As a result, after drinking, he said that it was too late. Stay overnight. Suddenly, Xiao Rui's face was full of shame and madness. Frantically slapping the pillow. Secretly crazy. I even agreed to his request. Xiao Ryu became more and more flustered the more she thought about it at this time. If Chen Yuan made that request later, what should I do? But if it suits him, it doesn't seem impossible. Come to think of it, Xiao Ryu couldn't help it. I was shocked by my bold idea. Hurriedly covered his face. I secretly shouted in my heart what was wrong with me. The more I think about it, the more outrageous it becomes. However, just when Xiao Ryu was thinking nonsense, but he suddenly found Chen Yuan in his pocket. There are actually a few movie ticket stubs. Immediately, Xiao Ryu took out the ticket stubs. At the same time, I was secretly shocked in my heart. This is a movie ticket. How can there be for so many? Did he watch a movie with another girl today? The man drove the goddess home in a Ferrari, but he was at 0 minutes. Said he wanted to go to the girl's house to drink a glass of water. Who expected Chen Yuan to drink water? But he said it was too late. Stay overnight. And the inexperienced Xiao Ryu. At this time, the more I thought about it, the more panicked I became. I was afraid that Chen Yuan would make that request. But at this moment, he suddenly realized, Chen Yuan's pocket. There are actually a few movie ticket stubs. Immediately, Xiao Ryu looked at the movie ticket in his hand. His face changed greatly. How can there be 4 movie tickets? Did he watch a movie with another girl today? Xiao Ryu did not have a seizure on the spot. Just quietly waited for Chen Yuan to finish taking a bath. And Chen Yuan was after washing. Came to Xiao Rui's side. Suddenly, my heart was full of joy, and the island was like rain. I washed it. Let's do something later. But Chen Yuan's words were not finished yet. Suddenly found that Xiao Rui's face was wrong. When you see the table, Chen Yuan's face immediately changed suddenly, and it was originally stuffed by him. 4 movie tickets in your trouser pocket. But it had already been turned out by Xiao Ryu and thrown on the table. Seeing Chen Yuan above, he was suddenly silent. Xiao Ryu immediately turned pale. Immediately said, Chen Yuan, you make it clear to me. Why do you have 4 movie tickets in your pocket? Are you still with another girl today? Watch the movie. After speaking, Xiao Ryu was suddenly annoyed. Angry and angry if you don't like me. Don't provoke me. Now you've all intruded into my life. But I'm secretly dating other girls. What do you mean by that? Seeing Xiao Ruiyu's furious appearance, Chen Yuan's heart suddenly burst into a cold sweat. He was about to open his mouth to explain, but Xiao Ruiyu's angry congratulations came. Have you considered my feelings? As soon as the words fell, the system immediately remembered Xiao Ruiyu, hints from the time of the pride of Du Jian. And Xiao Ruiyu looked stunned when she saw Chen Yuan. But he was getting angrier. He slammed his finger at the door. Chen Yi said coldly, "You get the hell out of here. I don't want to see you again." The system sounds again. Xiao Ruiyu's favorability is reduced by 10 points. Immediately after that, the system sounds again. Xiao Ruiyu's current opinion rating is 75 points. After listening to the prompts, Chen Yuan's face changed instantly. He suddenly began to become solemn. Immediately after that, Chen Yuan began to tremble. Then I secretly rejoiced in my heart. This state of affairs, I had expected it for a long time. Suddenly, Chen Yuan's head was lowered. There was a hint of pride. He immediately looked at it secretly in his heart. It's time to use my ultimate. Immediately afterwards, Chen Yuan suddenly raised his head, looked at Xiao Ruiyu with a sad face. Disappointed to the point of rain. It turns out that I am in your heart. Is it so untrustworthy? It's just a few movie tickets. You can actually make me pay for you. Reduced to nothing? Hearing Chen Yuan's words, Xiao Ruiyu suddenly exploded. He was already angry. Immediately shouted like this. You also want to quibble? But Chen Yuan didn't speak. Instead, he pulled out his phone. I dialed Lu Wenji's phone directly. Then Chen Yuan handed the mobile phone to Xiao Ruiyu. Then he spoke again. You can ask Lu Wenji yourself. I'm not going to go with him this morning. Movies. Listen to the constant beep of the phone. Xiao Ruiyu suddenly reigned in her temper. He did not continue to speak. Soon Lu Wenji answered the phone. Immediately, his sleepy-eyed voice was heard. Adam, why are you calling me so late? Can I help you? As soon as I saw that the phone was connected, Xiao Ruiyu immediately took the mobile phone and asked, Lu Wenji is me. Xiao Ruiyu gave a full speech. I went to a movie with you today. It's not true. And Lu Wenji, who is not fully awake, hurriedly nodded and fainted. That's right, the Wolf Warrior 6 I watched today. I was going to ask Du Satsuki to see it, but he turned me down. I'm fine. But I had to pull the Atom to accompany me to see it. That's when it happened. Lu Wenji suddenly became a clever man. Instantly sobered up. Then he was excited on the other end of the phone. Isn't that the number of atoms? Why is this phone in your hand? Are you two together? Immediately remembered Lu Wenji's angry roar. Are you with Chun Ren? A scumbag? Did he actually soak you? It's been a big deal. Seeing this, Xiao Ruiyu hurriedly expressed her embarrassment. Then he hung up the phone. See this? Izumi began to put on his clothes quickly. And Xiao Ruiyu thought secretly in her heart. Let's put it this way. Did I misunderstand him? But what if Lu Wenji is covering for him? Thinking of what Lu Wenji said just now. He was originally asked to watch a movie with Du Xiaoye. It just so happened that he and Du Xiaoye were in the same class. He immediately dialed Du Xiaoye's phone. The phone is connected. Later, Xiao Ruiyu asked Xiaoye in a low voice. I'm Xiao Ruiyu. Did Lu Wenji ask you to watch a movie today? And Du Xiaoye hurriedly said yes. I didn't go though, but I saw a handsome guy picking him up in a Ferrari. If only he had known that he knew such a rich man. I'm not going to refuse. And Chen Yuan, after changing his clothes, suddenly said to Xiao Ruiyu, I've checked it twice. Do you want me to give you the phone? Check the payment information. Classical Chinese. Xiao Ruiyu's face suddenly turned aggrieved. Dao Chen Yuan, I didn't mean that. And Chen Yuan didn't say much. Instead, he turned around directly and looked disappointed at Xiao Ruiyu. I didn't expect me to be such a person in your heart. To be honest, I was disappointed. Seeing that Chen Yuan was about to leave, Xiao Ru hurriedly opened his mouth to save Chen Yuan. It was me who was wrong. Don't be angry. I shouldn't have misunderstood you. Can you forgive me? But Chen Yuan directly pretended not to hear it. Just slam the door and leave. After walking out of the door again, Chen Yuan hurriedly wiped the cold sweat from his forehead. There is no secret enemy. The slot was almost on the verge of overturning. Fortunately, labor and management are well prepared. Otherwise, this cliff will be finished. The man finally came to the goddess's house to scrub and scrub. I didn't expect it. Xiao Ryu took out the movie ticket in his pocket. Moreover, was also angry and asked Chen Yuan, a scumbag, to get out. Chen Yuan, who was prepared, but he directly dialed Lu Wenji's phone, and Xiao Ryu only learned after some inquiry. Originally, Chen Yuan went to watch the movie with Lu Wenji. Subsequently, Chen Yuan immediately put on a disappointed expression. Then it is forbidden to turn away. Seeing this, Xiao Ryu hurriedly begged Chen Yuan for forgiveness. But Chen Yuan slammed the door directly, and secretly glad that he was well prepared. The screen turns. Early the next morning, Chen Yuan, who did not successfully spend the night at Xiao Ruiyu's house, I had to go back to the dormitory, and Chen Yuan woke up from sleep. Saw Xiao Ruiyu send a message begging for forgiveness. And Chen Yuan said very generously, this is something he didn't explain clearly. There is also fault. Xiao Ruiyu looked at Chen Yuan's message of apology. Immediately, I secretly rejoiced in my heart. Last night, it was clear that I was quite unreasonable. Lost his temper without figuring things out. He even apologized to me. It's so gentle. Immediately, the system rang 2 times in succession. Hints for a 10-point increase in opinion. All of a sudden, it rose directly to 95 points. What surprised Chen Yuan was, in the end, Xiao Ruyu's favorability has also increased a little more. After hearing the system prompt, Chen Yuan couldn't help but exhale a breath of turbidity. In my heart, the secret path finally grew back. I thought it was going to be cold last night. It's even a little bit higher than before. When I think of me, the system remembers the beep. Congratulations to Subject 6 Xiao Ruiyu. Favorability toward the host has broken through to 96. Rewards 10 enhancement points, although an unexpected reward was obtained. But Chen Yuan couldn't help but scratch his head. In my heart, I secretly decided that although this time I was fooled, but you can't toss it anymore. To develop steadily. I couldn't do it, and I almost made myself miserable, thinking of the beauties that the system binds to itself. Chen Yuan was not surprised, secretly complained in his heart and shook it. But after this incident, it's kind of a wake-up call. Binding objects should be distinguished. It's not that a successful counterattack is over. Come to think of it, Chen Yin couldn't help but show a frenzied expression. I thought about it in my heart. Some people should be allowed to specialize in tooling. And the other part is to maintain the relationship well. It's going to blow up their favorability. That's how they can die for me. Never again get caught up in this passive situation. After all, only kids' minds do multiple choice questions. And the one who is the chosen one, Chen Yuan, the owner of the system, just wants to be a scumbag now. After all, he also has a man's harem dream. And yet at this moment, 2 girls passing by Chen Yuan's side. But suddenly he said, have you heard? Senior Tang seems to be praised at school. Helped one of the strongest passers-by in the basketball game. The short-haired girl was immediately excited. Yes, yes. It's held in the gymnasium. There must be a lot of handsome guys on the basketball team in it. Let's go get a good spot. Chen Yuan, after hearing the news, immediately stopped curiously. In his heart, he secretly suppressed Senior Dao Tang. Are you talking about Tang Xuan? What kind of competition is the strongest passerby king? The thought of having a lively can be seen. Chen Yuan. Immediately, he turned around and walked towards the location of the gymnasium. After all, he is never absent from interesting things. After coming to the gymnasium, the basketball game has begun. Looking at the besieged hall, Dust was far from frightened and muttered secretly. This passerby king game is watched by so many people. That's when it happened. The group of girls gathered around the museum, cheered for Tang Yuan, and the dust that was noisy was far from shocking. Secretly complained, Tang Yuan specially sponsored this competition. I guess I spent money to install it for myself. All the women came to see him. Come to think of it, Chen Yuan couldn't help but muttered secretly. This game shouldn't have been all dragged by him. If you invite actors, he figured out what serious illness he had. That's what happened. And yet at this moment, and Lin Shutong, Su Lele, who came to watch the game together, after discovering Chen Yuan's figure, immediately rushed over. Immediately afterwards, Su Lele quickly stuck to Chen Yuan, greeted Chen Yuan delicately. You're coming to see the game too. What a coincidence. And Chen Yuan also nodded politely. If you have nothing to do, you will come and see it. I didn't expect you to be there. Yulele is at this time. An apology suddenly appeared behind Chen Yuan. A tap on his shoulder interrupted him. I saw He Jing say with a smile on his face. Chen Yuan hasn't seen him for a long time. Do you also like to play basketball? Seeing this, Chen Yuan's face suddenly sank. Scolded in my heart. How to come up with another one. And the little quack around looked at Chen Yuan, who was surrounded by three beauties. I couldn't help but start talking. It's the dust of the Faculty of Letters that is difficult. Is not only entangled with Su Lele, even that He Jing. It's all for him. Give your ex-boyfriend Li Yang, the sprint god, a kick. Kicked at this moment. Suddenly, two big beauties walked at the door. Qin Bingxue, who heard the sound of small quack gossip, immediately said coldly, two big men, talking about other people's girls behind their backs. It's really a human to do. A strong aura as the president of the student council. Immediately scared Xiao Jie to pee on the spot. Followed by, Qin Bingshue's face was full of annoyance, and Chen Xingdao was a man. It's disgusting. The whole venue was filled with a foul smell. Seeing this, Zhao Yuqi hurriedly smiled kindly. Calm down, bear with me. Don't talk about it, just watch the game. Meanwhile, Tang Yuan, who was playing in the field, he is also keenly aware of the changes from the gap to the off-field. After seeing Chen Yuan, he immediately scolded in his heart with an ugly face. It's really bad luck. Chen Yuan, what is he doing here? It's really unlucky. In his sight, Chen Yuan, after being surrounded by three beautiful women, he exploded in no time. Here's what's going on. There are so many beauties around him. Are they all blind? Can't you see me as rich and handsome? However, Tang Yuan's eyes turned. After seeing Qin Bingxue and Zhao Yuqi, immediately, he secretly snorted in his heart. Marble also came. Take advantage of this opportunity. Wash away the shame of the last piano. Come to think of it, Tang Yuan couldn't help but secretly feel proud. I've been playing basketball for 2.5 years. A weak chicken like Chen Yuan will definitely not be my opponent. This time it's a must-win. Immediately, I remembered the sound of breaking the sky. Tang Xiao. When Meng will. The basketball in his hand pointed in the direction of Chen Yuan. Chen Yuan, whose body has been greatly strengthened, immediately keenly aware. Something sped up on itself. The next second, Izumi's hand reflexively lifted. Catch the basketball that came at a fast speed. After catching the ball, Kuan Yin immediately understood, and Tang Yuan came over. What do you mean? Is it here to do a sneak attack when the piano loses to me? You're too naive, aren't you? And Tang Yuan, but with a hungry face and a grin with the little brothers. Do you say revenge? You don't deserve to worry about me. Do you dare to come out and play bullfighting with me? I'll give you 3 balls. The man originally just wanted to see the excitement, but he was surrounded by a group of beautiful women. See this scenario. Tang Xiao, who is the sponsor of the competition, immediately became angry, and after seeing Zhao Yuqi, Tang Yuan immediately had the desire to perform. Immediately, he felt it. Practice for as long as you want. Up to 2.5 years of basketball memory. Never say. Then Tang Yuan, and he slammed it. The basketball in his hand quickly pointed out to Chen Yuan, and Chen Yuan caught the basketball in one hand. Immediately questioned Tang Xiuwen angrily. Is there something wrong? And Tang Xiuwen's face was full of confidence. Sneered, do you dare to come out and play 1:1 bullfighting with me? I'll give you 3 balls. Suddenly, the entire gymnasium fell silent. Everyone began to wait for Chen Yuan's response. And at this time, Chen Yuan was already secretly annoyed in his heart. You like to play with me so much, don't you? Then I'll play with you enough. Immediately, the members had a fierce force in their hands. Threw the basketball towards Tang Xiuwen. And Tang Xiuwen looked at the basketball that was coming quickly. I couldn't help but feel secretly proud in my heart. That's it. Just an average layman's serve. Do you still want to embarrass me? But at the moment when he reached out to catch the basketball, the distance on the ball bounced his hands away. Then it was forbidden to bombard him on the chest. Knocked him into the air. Zhao Yuqi's eyes lit up when she saw this. It's starting to depress. Oh my God. Senior Tang is the captain of the basketball team. Couldn't even solve Chen Yuan's serve. Chen Yuan is really amazing. And Qin Bingxue still disdained Lung Hengdao. Just a barbarian with no barbarians. Men are really brave and ruthless trash. Meanwhile, the little Gaga in the field saw Tang Xiuwen. Lying on the ground for a long time, I couldn't stand up, immediately anxiously concerned. Captain, are you okay? Why don't you go to the infirmary? And Tang Xiuwen's face at this time. It's hard to see the pole already. He couldn't help but secretly curse Chen Yuan in his heart. It looks like it's weak. There is so much strength. His serve was too hard to serve. That's when it happened. Kuan Yin suddenly walked slowly to Tang Xiuwen, and then casually condescending. What's the point of 1v1? Shall we just have a 5:5 game? Let me see the varsity team you lead. What kind of standard is it? As soon as this remark came out, the audience was shocked. The same thought could not help but float in everyone's hearts. That's Chen Yuan Feng and Tang Xiuwen. At this time, it was also said by Chen Yuan, shocked by the words of arrogance to the extreme. He couldn't help but secretly suppress himself to fight me 5:5. Live players and referees. Even the ball is my man. Is he trying to bring shame upon himself? Suddenly, Tang Xiuwen's face was struggling. Roared in his heart, Chen Yuan, you stupid fork. It's Eerie 9 now. You're doomed this time. Soon. The 5:5 match requested by Chen Yuan was officially played. Ringing and the red team's small quack after kickoff. Immediately passed the ball to Tang Xiuwen. Tang Xiuwen on a fast dribble. I couldn't help but feel secretly proud in my heart. A layman doesn't dare to shout here. See how I kill you. Wait until I hit you in the face. Lich will know who his true destiny is. Just when Chen Yuan wanted to grab the ball, the red team suddenly split into 3, surrounded him firmly, and Chen Yuan still calmly said Tang Xiuwen in his heart, you're a weak chicken. Do you think I don't know? Is everyone in the room your actors? Labor and management are asking for a $9 to show you. Let you see what a real boss is. Immediately, Chen Yuan's face changed. Then in the heart of the secret channel system, give me my basketball expertise. Rises 30-year proficiency. I'm going to put a fork on it. Meanwhile, such as Tang Xiuwen in no man's land. Listen to the incessant shouts from the sidelines. I can't help but say coldly in my heart at this time, it's just the right time to show off a wave of operations. Let's end it with my handsome dunk. Immediately, he kicked under his feet. The whole person quickly took off towards the basket. And yet at this moment, where Chun Yin is located. But suddenly, there was a sound of hue. Immediately after that, Tang Xiuwen's pupils suddenly locked. And Chen Yuan's figure seemed to flash. Directly covered his dunk. Just when Tang Xiuwen was about to score a goal, Chen Yuan easily stopped him. And Tang Xiuwen's face was already full of shock at this time. Xiao Quack, who was still shouting and cheering a second ago, saw this. They have fallen into petrification. Senior Tang, who is proficient in basketball, would actually be capped by Chen Yuan, a layman. Oh my god. And the red team just surrounded Chen Yuan's 3 people. I can't help but fall in love with each other. Do you see how he rushed out? I didn't see it at all. It felt like he was just shaking. And then it just disappeared. Isn't that a living hell? And Tang Xuan was also shocked at this time, and cold sweat broke out. He couldn't help but say something in disbelief. Not really. How can it be? Am I dreaming? But Chen Yuan didn't pay attention to Tang Xuan. Spin the basketball directly in your hand. Then sneered that this scared my turn. Senior Tang, you have to be careful, but he didn't finish his sentence. The referee blew the foul for a short time. Chen Yuan immediately exploded in his heart. Is this all a foul? Tang Xuan, do you still want to nod your face? The black whistles are all arranged for labor and management. Men just spin the basketball casually. But he directly smashed the captain of the basketball team into the air. Then Chen Yuan said, even more arrogantly, I want to have a 5-5 match with Tang Xuan. Full performance. Knows that the people in the field are Tang Xuan's doglegs. In order to win this eerie 9 game, he decisively strengthened his basketball expertise for 30 years. Immediately after that, Chen Yuan was in full view of everyone. Directly covered Tang Xuan's dunk. But before Chen Yuan could start to install the fork, the referee blew the whistle for a foul. Immediately, Chen Yuan exploded. He didn't expect that even the referee was a black whistle. And Chen Yuan didn't say much. The game continues. Because of Chen Yuan's foul, Tang Xuan directly took a free throw opportunity for nothing. Smooth goal. And Tang Xuan's team was immediate. It was 1 point ahead of Chen Yuan's team. At this time, Tang Xuan couldn't help but secretly rejoice in his heart. No matter how good your skills are, no matter how strong the strength is, the game is about power. Your teammates and referees are my people. I'll see how you play with me. And the crowd of onlookers are even stupid. It can also be seen at a glance that this is an obvious black behavior. They couldn't help but start whispering. It's all fouls. What the hell? It's just an ordinary competition, and you have to engage in black. It's too embarrassing for us. And Chen Yuan has been affected by Tang Xuan's shameless behavior. Annoyed. Tang Xuan, if you can't afford to play garbage, don't come to play. Sportsmanship is not meant to be insulted to you. Immediately, Chen Yuan's eyes lit up. At the same time, I secretly decided in my heart, this time it must be thorough. Completely repelled Tang Xuan. Then it came to Chen Yuan's serve. And Chen Yuan got the ball very smoothly. Under Chen Yuan's fast dribble breakthrough, Tang Xuan's team can't keep up with his speed at all. Before they could make a defense, Chen Yi jumped up suddenly. Aiming at the basket is a slam dunk. Chen Ye's physical fitness is far beyond ordinary people. No one could stop him. It was a good way to get the ball. As the game progresses, it has gradually evolved. Chen Yuan's solo show. As long as he is perfected, you're bound to score. Seeing this scene, Tang Xuan suddenly became anxious. He hurriedly ordered the little quacks. Hurry up and restrain him. If you really can't do it, you will be ruthless. It doesn't matter if it's a foul. Gotta stop him for me. After training your teammates, Tang Xuan, who felt puzzled, even pointed at Chen Yuan's teammates and shouted, a few of you. Don't give me a stupid job standing there. Soon Chen Yuan won the ball again. But the 2 little quacks hurriedly surrounded them, blocked his line of attack with his body. But Chen Yuan didn't panic at all when he saw this. There was even a sneer of disdain, followed by, he was in the gaze of 2 little quacks. Leap to his feet, then hold the basketball high in the air. Aim for the center of the basket, not far away. The next second, a violent shot from a long distance was thrown out by him. Accurate hitting the basket scored again. Seeing this scene, everyone in the audience was stunned. They couldn't help but think the same thing in their minds. How the hell did he do it? Is it necessary to do this degree? Even if it's a fool. You can see it. It's an unfair game. It's all shady. Can. Everyone looked at the figure that kept running in the distance. I can't help but wonder. Why the hell is he working so hard? See this scenario. The referee couldn't help but think back to his father. I used to teach myself, son, the referee is the bottom line in a game. When you become a referee in the future, make sure you have a clear conscience every time you blow the whistle. Come to think of it, the referee was suddenly struck by lightning. Then I was secretly shocked in my heart. Is he out of respect? Every game is won or lost. It's not about looking at the scores of both sides. It's about whether you give your best for the game. A lot of little quack about this. I can't help but think the same thing in my heart. Is he doing it for love? Immediately refereed. In a crowd, little Gaga, who began to blame himself secretly. Compare with this majestic man. Everything we do, it's all so ugly. It's like detoxifying the sport of basketball. And the members who have been immersed in dribbling and shooting. The change in atmosphere was immediately noticed. I couldn't help but mutter to myself what was going on. Don't you fight. The next moment, except for Chen Yuan, all the players began to slowly retreat. Made way for Chen Yuan. Xiao Gaga outside the field was immediately shocked when he saw this. The pupils are locked. They all exclaimed. This is another one. Are the guys on the basketball team crazy? The game is not played. I saw Chen Yuan slowly dribbling towards the basket. But the little quacks kept pushing away. Lu Yuan. The artist blocked in front of Lan. See this scenario. Chen Yuan couldn't help but feel a little confused. He couldn't figure out why it was all sudden. This happens. And Zhao Yuqi in the audience. But he suddenly spoke. Dust edge to convince people. What he showed. It's true sportsmanship. Meanwhile, Chen Yuan looked at his subordinates. All of them looked like they're chopping vegetables. Immediately, he was secretly angry in his heart. What kind of playing are you doing? I don't make any money, do I? Men don't just have to 1v9 in basketball. You even have to face the referee's black whistle. Seeing that Chen Yuan is so insulting to sportsmanship, Chen Yin immediately used all his skills. Prepare to blow it up. Chen Yin's firm but majestic figure. It immediately touched the little quacks present. Just because of this, never give up. Fight without leaving a single grain in the arena. It's true sportsmanship. Suddenly the small quack in the field began to make way for Chen Yuan. And Zhao Yuqi outside the field saw this. Couldn't help but admire. Chen Yuan convinces people with virtue. What he showed. It's true sportsmanship. And Chen Yuan was secretly angry with the island in his heart. I don't make any money, do I? And as the game progresses, Chen Yuan quickly led Chen Yuan by 58 points. Seeing Chen Yuan's panting appearance, Chen Yuan immediately rose to Chen Yuan. What you do? It's an insult to the sport of basketball. When the guitar quickly dribbled again and rushed towards Chen Yuan. At the same time, he said, since you are so shameless, then the humiliation that comes with you. It's all your own newspaper. And Chen Yuan had no idea of winning the game at this point. He immediately decided secretly, as long as you can block him, I'm not disgraced. I can still redeem it. Just when the dust is far away and is about to break through, Chen Yuan made an interception in an instant. And Chen Yuan saw this. But there was a smile of expectation. Immediately afterwards, Chen Yuan's feet suddenly exerted force. When you pick up a basketball, you have to go to the basket. However, just as Chen Yuan's hands were wide open, Chen Yuan suddenly jumped up, raised his hand fiercely, and gave Chen Yuan an elbow blow. At the same time, I was secretly proud in my heart. That's what it ends like trying to humiliate me. Chen Yuan will go to the hospital obediently for me to lie down. The next second, there was a sudden click. Chen Yuan's elbow. At the moment of hitting Chen Yuan's body, a comminuted fracture occurred immediately. This sudden and severe pain, arrange, made Chen Yuan let out a burst of misery, like killing a pig. Immediately, Chen Yuan fell to the ground. His vine face was already distorted. Can't help but unbelievable hands. How can it be? Meanwhile, there was a thud on the basket. After Chen Yuan crashed into Tang Qiuan. Direct slam dunk points. See this scenario. Immediately, there was a lot of applause outside the venue. Even Zhao Yuqi looked at Chen Yuan's gaze. There is more color of worship. And the system prompts at the same time. Zhao Yuqi's favorability towards the host broke through to 96 points. Rewards 10 enhancement points. Meanwhile, Lin Shutong and Su Lele also showed adoration. Frantically gave Chen Yuan his own applause. And Lin Shutong's favorability also rose to 96 points. Chen Yuan once again mentioned 10 strengthening points. And Su Lele's favorability towards Shinren. It also soared to 97 points. The system also rewards 10 enhancement points. And He Jiying, who is full of love for sports. At this time, it has completely become Chen Yuan's licking dog. There is only Chen Yuan's figure in his eyes. Chen Yuan's sportsmanship. Just let He Jiying's favorability soared to 95 points. Received a bonus of 22 enhancement points. And Chen Yuan listened to the system prompt. Immediately turned to Tang Qiuan with a silent face. You've disappointed me. Both ability and morality. You don't deserve to be the captain of the varsity team. Then his face sank. And then with a disdainful face, I force myself to rubbish like you. Competing on the same stage is really insulting to my skills. Tang Qiuan, who fell off the altar, was far from being so arrogant. He immediately, the hard mouth shouted angrily, You're waiting for Lao Tzu. Someday it will make you look good. Show me around. Meanwhile, girls off the court. All of them have become Chen Yuan's. And He Jiying, who was holding a water bottle, suddenly found it. Chen Yuan actually disappeared. Just when He Jiying was looking for Chen Yuan's figure. Her eyes widened suddenly, let out a suspicious sound. I saw that Zhao Yuqi was the same as herself, all with a bottle of mineral water. It seems that he is also looking for Chen Yuan's figure. Suddenly, Chen Yuan's 4 binding objects. They all held water bottles and crashed into each other. And at this time, the dust edge is after the insertion. Slipped away from the crowd as soon as possible. He came to a corner where no one was around. I can't help but secretly rejoice. Fortunately, he was decisive in his run. Otherwise, I'm very likely to do it next. You have to face the difficult problem of choosing which bottle of water. This is 100% of the rollover scene. Then the members wasted no more time. I went straight back to the dormitory and started the washing operation. After washing, Izumi couldn't help but sigh. After sweating out, a hot bath is a beautiful thing in the world. Just then, his phone rang suddenly. The amorous prodigal son of the Huangtu hegemony group. Suddenly, he sent a friend application to Chen Yuan. When he saw this, he was not stunned. How can someone add me? And after Chen Yuan applied through a friend, the amorous prodigal son asked Chen Yuan directly if he wanted a wife. Chen Yuan saw this nonsensical news. I couldn't help but fall into a state of confusion. I asked myself if I wanted a wife. Chen Yuan's face suddenly looked strangely depressed. What the hell is this amorous prodigal son talking about? Men in a 1:9 basketball game. Win with a crushing attitude. Immediately, Zhao Yuqi's favor. The degree rose to 96 points. And Lin Shutong and Su Lele's favorability. They rose to 96 and 97 points, respectively. And He Jiying, the favorability score has directly broken through to 95 points. Directly became Chen Yuan's fan sister. However, just when the 4 girls rushed to bring water to Chen Yuan, they found that Chen Yuan was gone. Chen Yuan, who returned to the dormitory. But suddenly I received a question. He wants information about his wife. Chen Yuan saw this nonsensical news. Immediately fell into a state of confusion. Gao Xianin won the actress crown at the age of 22. Was made the first of the 4 little flowers by the entertainment industry. The head of the Jade Girl, when he was in full swing, was exposed to the fact that he was being paid this wave of small three scandals. He was directly and severely affected, and this incident had a great impact on him. Not only ruined his acting career, there is even a penalty of up to 30 million yuan. High in the clouds, although she is the daughter of the Gao Group. However, in recent years, the development of Gao's group has not been smooth. That's a huge number of 30 million for the current Gao Group. It's also enough to break the muscles and bones. And Gao Lang, who is the second son of the Gao Group, after saying that, directly said the purpose of this trip. It's my sister. And this time, Mr. Yuan came out. I mainly want to ask you to help my sister. Chen Yuan was drinking coffee. Said indifferently, "What do you mean? Do you want me to be your Gao family's son-in-law?" As soon as I heard this, Gao Lang suddenly became anxious. He hurriedly opened his mouth to explain. "Don't think about it. I'm just afraid you'll ignore me. Feel free to send it out to get your attention." Immediately after that, Gao Lang slammed the table. Irritated poured. My sister was framed for that. Now the export is spreading negative news about him. He's in a bad situation right now. There is also a penalty for liquidated damages. Then Gao Lang hurriedly stabilized his mood, and then embarrassed to hesitate. "I asked you out this time. I want you to help me buy my sister's villa." Chen Yuan couldn't help but muttered secretly. "Buying a house. Now, I do need a house of my own too." But Chen Yuan thought of being a female star. A bold idea suddenly arose to him. If only I could bind him. Then the counterattack succeeded. This kind of woman who can spend money. I'm sure I'll get a lot of money back. Come to think of it. Chen Yuan immediately put down the coffee in his hand. Then he nodded to Gao Lang. "I can help you with this request. You can find a time for me to meet your sister. Let's take a look at the house by the way." Seeing that Chen Yuan was so happy, he agreed. Gao Lang hurriedly turned on his mobile phone and said that he would make an appointment now. He couldn't help but say in his heart, "Mr. Yin is really as atmospheric as rumored. It's really responsive. It's so good to look at the calm appearance of Chen Yuan." Gao Lang couldn't help but muttered secretly. Some time ago, Yin always seems to be. He also invested a huge amount of money in the Shaw Group. If you let your sister marry him, it seems to be pretty good. Early the next morning, the high-hanging grounds are inhabited. Inside the waterfront international townhouse. Suddenly, there was a roar. "You tell that tiger master. Let him get out of here." I saw that the high-hanging groans were full of annoyance. Angry on the other end of the phone. I know he has a lot of eyesight. Aren't all my scandals all his doing? But I will definitely not bow to him. After saying that, Gao Hang groaned and immediately hung up the phone. Then he pressed it on the couch. He was still angry and kept beating the pillow, scolding the stinky old man. "I want the old cow to eat the tender grass. Die, I won't let you get away with it." After venting his anger, Gao Xianin suddenly deflated and threw himself into the bed, at the same time desperate to the point of uncompromising words. So what to do? The payout is 30 million. When I think of the hefty payouts, Gao Hengyin couldn't help but be sad and couldn't reach the enemy. "I just want to be an actor. Why is it so hard?" That's when it happened. The phone was hanging high suddenly. There was a dripping sound. Gao Xianin after answering the phone. Immediately, Gao Lang's excited voice came out, "Sister, your things have taken a turn for the better. I found a super local tyrant and a big backer. You don't have to worry about money." As soon as I heard this, Gao Hengyin frowned without frowning. "Where do you go to find a backer? Have you switched to pimping?" Gao Lang Wenyin hurriedly explained. "What do you say? You've heard of it. Recently, he has been frequently searched for a super local tyrant and a general brother. No, I just met him. He promised to buy your house." One thought of such a rustic name, high-hanging in the heart, can't help but float the image of a greasy uncle. Suddenly, there was a high groan. There was a trace of disgusting emotions in my heart. Then he sighed helplessly. The woman won the actress crown at a young age. But he offended the director in order not to be disciplined by money. so he fell into a scandal, facing huge payouts. And his younger brother Gao Lang found Chen Yuan and hoped that he could buy a villa with high-hanging silver. And Chen Yuan thought of hanging silver. This kind of big star who can spend money. I was immediately moved. Immediately he agreed and said that he wanted to meet Gao Hanging. By the way, take a look at the room. And hanging high, Silver heard that there was a local tyrant who wanted to buy the villa. The brain without disgust makes up a lewdness. The image of the uncle, and the high waves will soon hang high. Silver's phone number and address were given to Chen Yuan. Send it over. Can be hung high, Silver. But he roared wildly on the phone. What kind of god did you find for me? Isn't it another old man who wants to take advantage of me? Man, Gao Lang, if you help outsiders trap me, just wait to see how I clean you up. And Gao Lang hurriedly opened his mouth to explain Sister Dao. Listen to me first. This yin is really not ordinary. You'll understand it once you've met him. I guess he'll be at your house soon. Then remember to show him the house. On the occasion of hanging up the phone, Gao Lang didn't forget to tell him, remember to restrain your temper. Has a good attitude towards Mr. Yin. And Gao Xianin saw that the phone was hung up. Immediately, there was a wail of pain. Men don't have a good thing. Even my own brother wants to pit me. A high groan about the man who has completely died. Suddenly, he raised his hand and shouted with an angry face, I hang my silver even if I starve to death. The defendant went bankrupt, nor will I ask for a dime from a man. And Chen Yuan got the position. He drove to the waterfront of the high silver dwelling, international townhouse. Looking at the villa in front of you, Chen Yuan couldn't help but be on an island. The development of this community is very distinctive. I didn't expect the female star to be so close to me. Then Chen Yuan came to the door. Then he rang the doorbell neatly. And Gao Xianing was stunned when she heard the doorbell. He couldn't help but say, with a full face, it's only a few minutes away. Can't wait yet? Sure enough, it's an old color cloak. Then Gao Xianing forcibly suppressed the nausea in her heart. Then he put on a coat and walked out of the door. At the same time, he said impatiently, come, don't press it. Followed by, Gao Xianing pushed open the door with an impatient face. What a big man is the blind way. Will you die later? You're going to ring my doorbell. But the next moment, when Gao Xianing saw Chen Yuan's appearance clearly, but he was suddenly stunned, and Chen Yuan only felt an elegant fragrance coming. Closed eyes. It's a woman with long, flowing hair. He hurriedly asked politely, Are you Miss Gao Xianing? I'm a high wave. Friend Gao Xianing looked at Chen Ren's figure walking in by himself. I can't help but feel a little surprised that I can't reach the enemy. You are Mr. Yin. And Chen Yuan nodded without looking back. Gao Xianing's face immediately turned red when he saw this. He didn't expect it at all. The legendary Mr. Yin would be so young. He looks pretty handsome. And then Chen Yuan sat down very rudely. Then he said, Miss Gao, you don't have to be too restrained. Sit down and talk. And Gao Xianing's first impression of Chen Yuan. Not bad. He hurriedly sat down and smiled. Don't you look at the house first? And Chen Yuan was full of indifference. This house is okay. I'm done. This time, Chen Yuan does not intend to maintain the character of a righteous man and a gentleman. He suddenly said, I'm here to buy a house. But the house is not my main purpose. I'm here to make you my dear. As soon as the words fell, Gao Xianing was suddenly stunned. He couldn't seem to believe it. This guy looks like a dog. How dare you be so grandiose? He uttered such foul language. And at this time, the system also sounded a prompt. Operation Dog Licking begins. The dog-licking object is bound successfully. His name is 22 years old. Height 168 centimeters, weight 50 kilograms. Appearance 9.2. The girl's favorability towards the host is minus 35 points. Bind the dog-licking relationship. When the woman's opinion of the host is over 95. The counterattack was successful. Identity reversal will turn the other party into a host. Licking the dog counterattack is completed, and 10% of the consumption of the dog licking gold will be rewarded. Bonus enhancement points, 30. Enhancement points strengthen the host's physical attributes, including strength, agilité physique, mental, and other bonus skills are proficient in performance. Chen Yuan heard the system prompt. I couldn't help but secretly rejoice in my heart. Instead of wasting time tossing and turning, it's better to just throw money at it. It's up to you to deal with it. And Gao Hangyin stared angrily at Chen Yuan and passed away. He couldn't help but be in his heart. Crazy complained to the total of less than 2 minutes of meeting. You just say such disgusting things. Who I am chanting is, do you think that having money can trample on my dignity? Come to think of it. Gao Xianin suddenly smiled angrily and said yes. I've never met someone as direct as you. Don't you want me to be your lover? It's not impossible. I want you to meet my 3 conditions. First, you're going to buy me a luxury car with more than $10 million. You buy me a suite in Thompson, the magic capital. Speaking of which, Gao Xianin suddenly showed a look of disdain. Delusional. Chen Yuan spoke again and said third. I want you to invest me in 2 huge sums of more than 500 million. Crafted films. I have to be the heroine. If you think the conditions are too harsh. And Chen Yuan heard this, immediately showed an excited look. Unbelievable. Is that true? A house shouldn't be enough for you to live in. Why don't we give you a few sets first? Isn't it good for your whole family to have one set? As soon as this remark came out, Gao Xianin suddenly told the truth on the spot. He originally thought Chen Yuan would never agree to him. Such outrageous requests. Unexpectedly, Chen Yuan couldn't help but agree. He even thought he wanted too little. The man opened his mouth to sign. I'm going to buy this villa myself. And also to wrap up the high hanging. And Gao Hangyin didn't expect it. In total, the meeting with the members took less than 2 minutes. Dare to say such disgusting words. Immediately after that, Gao Hangyin suddenly became angry. Anti-filial piety wants me to be your lover. It's not impossible. I must meet 3 conditions. First, you're going to buy me a luxury car with more than $10 million. You buy me a suite in Thompson, the magic capital. Third, I want you to invest in 2 parts for me. More than 500 million huge money to build a movie. And Chen Yuan immediately agreed excitedly and said that the house is too little. It is necessary to arrange a set of heights for 1 person and 1 set of heights for the whole family of Gao Hangyin. Seeing this, Hanging Silver immediately told the truth on the spot. He couldn't help but be suspicious. Is there something wrong with Chen Yuan's brain? The screen turns. Gao Lang suddenly came outside the villa. Shouted up, sister. I came and Gao Lang immediately found out. Stop at the Ferrari in front of the villa. He couldn't help but be excited. Why is the editor's car still here? Haven't you left for so long? In the spirit of curiosity, Gao Lang hurriedly found Gao Xianyan and asked Sister Dao, Mr. Bien, why can't you find him? His car is downstairs. At this time, the high-hanging clouds that were already wandering outside the world. Hard-tracked with no eyes. You're talking about the red Ferrari Lafa. The editor has already given it to me. Gao Lang heard this. Immediately excited, what do you say? That car is worth more than 20 million. Why didn't he give it to me? And the high hanging. It seems that I didn't hear the ghost cry of the high waves. It is to continue the fugue. Not only did he give me a 10 million class supercar, also sent me a large sum of money. And as soon as Gao Lang heard this, I immediately felt that this transaction was a success. He couldn't help but laugh and show me. It's a deposit to buy a house. How many millions have been given to you? Gao Hangyun opens the SMS arrival information, then put the phone in front of Gao Lang. He called me 100 million. I saw it on my phone. It was a message that had arrived at 100 million, and Gao Lang couldn't help but think about this in his heart. This yin always came to buy a house. Not only gave the car to my sister, and I also gave my sister 100 million. So he must have taken a fancy to my sister. This is the case. One thought. Mr. Yin has a high chance of becoming his brother-in-law. Gao Lang immediately became excited, and the high-hanging groan is felt. This younger brother is really wild. Can't want it this time. High-hanging. It's all over the place. The scene where Chen Yuan had just let himself be his lover. He couldn't help but secretly in his heart. The enemy is not the enemy. How could I have just said that condition? Obviously, I hate him. It's really handy, but Chen Yuan is casual. Just threw himself out of the appearance of 100 million. It's so handsome. Most importantly, he's completely different from those old perverts. I can't help but make a big move. I didn't even move myself. Immediately, the system sounded a prompt sound. High chant favorability over time. At this time, the more I think about it, the more excited I become. He couldn't help but secretly rejoice in his heart. Although he is very direct. But he doesn't seem to be a bad guy. This is 120 million. Immediately will hang the favorability of silver -35. Increased to -5 points. And Chen Yuan smashed 120 million after how. I took a taxi back to Huda. At this time, a graduation ceremony was being held on campus. Qin Bingshue's students. Graduation is finally here. I saw that I was about to graduate. Qin Bingshue once again told Zhao Yuqi to buy qi. You must listen to me. That Chen Yuan is really not a good person. You'd better stay away from him as soon as possible. From today onwards, I will leave Huda. There's no way to protect you anymore. Zhao Yuqi heard this. Hurriedly by Shoshan filial piety Sister Qin. Acknowledging others is good. It may be that you have some misunderstanding about him. And Qin Bingshue was full of disgust. You saw it last time in basketball. A whole bunch of girls were waiting to bring him water. It is enough to show that it is rare for him to not keep the day. But Zhao Yuqi's face was so excited that he saw it. Acknowledging, though, he didn't accept the girl's water. I don't think there's anything wrong with him doing this. Qin Bingshue saw Zhao Yu. Qi's love brain looks like it. I had to memorize my own big move if I told you. The night your birthday party ends. Chen played him on my way home. Self-directed and self-acting heroes save beauty. Do you still think he's a good person? And Zhao Yuqi said, hurriedly turned on the phone and began to rummage. At the same time, he said, Sister Qin Shui, you're good at everything. It's just demonizing men too much. I'm worried about your mental state if it goes on like this. Then Zhao Yuqi. Su Lele sent a photo of the pennant to Chen Yuan. After turning it out, speak again and say that Chen Yuan is good for everything. It's just that the sense of justice is too strong. Frequent acts of righteousness and courage. I'm worried that something will happen to him. Speaking of this, Zhao Yuqi. Suddenly, there was a smile on his face. Speak again about that birthday. I didn't even tell you about your return. So it's impossible for him to direct and act on his own. Qin Bingshue, after listening to Zhao Yuqi's words. Suddenly his face changed. In my heart, I secretly said that Chen Yuan saved me last time. Isn't it really acting? When I think of me, Qin Bingshue couldn't help biting her lip, secretly annoyed in his heart. Is it because I'm demonizing men too much? Is it my problem? Immediately, Qin Bingshue suddenly turned around and walked towards the outside of the school. Seeing this, Zhao Yuqi hurriedly said, Sister Qin Shui, where are you going? You haven't taken a graduation photo of your class yet. And Qin Bingshue thought of what she had done to Chen Yuan before. Words spoken. I can't help but feel very ashamed. At the same time, he secretly said in his heart, what did I do before? It's a shame, isn't it? It's just my own passion. People didn't want to soak me at all. Qin Bingshue, who was the first in the list of Wu de beauties. Graduation is finally here. And he was in this moment of separation. I didn't forget to tell Zhao Yuqi to remember to stay away from Chen Yuan. And will also be the day of the birthday party. Chen Yuan directed and acted in the trick of heroes saving beauty. I want to soak my own things. The first to tell Zhao Yuqi to know. However, Zhao Yuqi. But he directly took out a photo of Chen Yuanjin's righteousness and bravery. At the same time, he smiled and said that it was his birthday. I didn't tell you about you. So it's impossible for him to direct and act on his own.